following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say viewer discretion is advised.
Sweet.
Good morning. Come on in, make sure you guys hit that like button. Let me know where you guys are checking in from. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope everybody is good. Shout out to Great Polo. Shout out to everybody that's part of the MGM gang. Clarence, what's going on? Shout out to Fonzo the Trucker. How is everybody doing? Shout out to all the moderators. Come on in, make sure you guys hit that like button. Von Gray, what's going on? Fonzo say he checking in from Connecticut right now. That's what's up. All right, so today we back at it. We are back at it. It don't stop. Yeah, we back talking about the money, the cost. A lot of people still don't get it. Listen, I was watching some content as far as on the trucking side this weekend. A lot of complaining, a lot of people transitioning, like I talked about yesterday, from owner operator over to company driver. A lot of people exiting. And I'm telling you, the main reason is because people don't know their costs. I don't care what people blame it. You can blame brokers. You can blame this mythical cheap freight, this mythical magic, whatever cheap freight. But the whole reason why most people fail is because a lack of understanding their costs. We did the call-in show yesterday, and I don't know if you guys haven't noticed, but there's more people that watch me other than box truck owner operators. All right. Obviously, cargo van owner operators watch the channel, box truck owner operators watch the channel, but there's a large amount of semi-truckers that watch this channel. All right. You may see them in the chat. There's one in here right now, Fonzo. There's a lot of semi-truckers that watch this channel. And one came up yesterday on the call-in show, semi-truck, said until he started watching me, he didn't even know what cost per mile was. Owner operator, and I commend her for coming up and being forthcoming with that information. And that's the main issue why a lot of people don't. That's why they fail. He was a brave soul that came up and said, listen, so this is a guy that came up, that's went through CDL school, has a CDL, is an owner operator, and said, man, I didn't even know what it was until I started watching your channel. I appreciate you for holding me and people in the community accountable, because, man, I didn't even know. So this is why I say ain't no such thing as cheap freight, because this is not. If you see a load and it's profitable for you, you take it. If it's not profitable, you don't take it, right? But how do you determine if it's profitable or not? By understanding what your operational cost is. There ain't no such thing as cheap freight. Listen, I don't care. And I've told you, I've debated, I've talked. Listen, I don't care who you ping or who you tell. We always going to ping the link to the top of the chat, because there is no such thing as cheap freight. There's no such thing. Listen, as a business owner, I'm not finna sit up and complain about some shit. I'm gonna solve problems. I'm solution-based. I'm a solution-based individual. I don't complain. Business owners don't complain. Let's just get this out the way first. When you become a business owner, all right, you putting yourself in a different category. You no longer are an employee. So you got to switch from having an employee mind state, all right, a mindset, right? You can't think like an employee. A person who owns a business doesn't go complaining about shit. They don't complain about freight rates. They don't complain about brokers. People that are considered business owners don't complain. You problem solve, all right? Most of your day is going to be solving problems. This is what you signed up for. This is why you supposed to be making the big bucks, but you ain't making the big bucks because you don't know what it costs to run your business. This is why you complaining. You don't know what it feels like to make the big bucks because you don't know what it costs to run your business. I never complained, ever. I couldn't. How can I complain when I got people coming to me to complain about shit, and then I have to solve their problems, plus solve the problems of the business, then solve my own personal problems? I don't have time to complain because I'm a problem solver. When you are sitting at the helm of a business, it's your job to solve problems. That's what your number one job is going to be. And you'll never solve problems if you running around all fucking day complaining about dumb shit. Yes, complaining about they're taking cheaper. That's the dumbest shit. I'm not going to complain about what another man is doing. They? Who is these they people, man, y'all keep talking about? All right, so, man, cost is the main issue. So the guy came up yesterday. He's a semi-truck guy, and he said, man, he didn't know. All right, so I want to go through, and I got my shit written down. All right, some of just the why it's so hard for people in trucking, whether you're in semi-truck, box truck, cargo van, to succeed. Why it's so hard for you to understand your costs. All right, so obviously it's important to know your costs. One of the main reasons people just struggle with costs is just a lack of understanding of finances in general. All right, a lot of people confuse revenue with profit. Gross revenue, the money's coming in, with profit. They think that, okay, my box truck business, and we hear them say this all the time on a call-in show when they hit the link. Well, man, how much you made last year? Well, I made $150,000. Okay, well, how much did you take home? Man, $150,000. That's what I made. Well, that's what the business made. What did you make? I am the business. No, you're not. No, you're not. A lot of people don't even know the difference between gross and net. Gross is what the business brings in. All right. You go out there. This is the gross amount of money, whatever the business brought in. The net is what the business profited. All right. That's the first thing you as an owner operator need to educate yourself on. Gross and net. Gross is what the business brings in. Net is what the business profits. In order to determine your net, you have to obviously know your expenses, what it costs you to run that business. All right. All right. Second, when you're coming up with your cost per miles, the way I explain it, and I got a video that's under 2 minutes that breaks it down and illustrates it for you. All right. First thing you need to determine is your fixed cost per mile and your variable cost per mile. All right. I train people to know your fixed cost per mile. It's more work. It's a longer equation, but I think it's imperative for an individual to know the fixed cost per mile, the variable cost per mile, and then their total cost per mile. And determining your total cost per mile is just coming up with your fixed cost per mile. All right. All your fixed costs, all right, added up, divided by the miles driven, depending on how you're calculating. Are you doing it weekly? Are you doing it monthly? So on and so forth. Whatever the miles you drove weekly, right? Whatever the miles you drove monthly, just divide the total cost, your total fixed cost divided by those miles. And then you're going to get that number. Do the same thing for your variable costs. So now you got your fixed cost per mile, you got your variable cost per mile. And then to come up with your total cost per mile, you're going to add those two numbers together to get your total cost per mile. It's that simple. All right. So why don't people do it? I don't really understand. You know what I'm saying? To me, I think that's imperative in order for you to be, successful. All right. Another thing is that I see, and we're talking about why so many truckers struggle. I'm giving you the key reasons of why so many truckers struggle. And I got this shit jotted down because this is a collective of all the things that I've conjured up just from doing the call-in show and just talking to owner operators over the course of my tenure here on YouTube. These are the main reasons. Another reason that a lot of truckers struggle is because they ignore their fixed cost. Yeah, you guys see it all the time. We do a live stream, and I ask a person, what's your cost per mile? Obviously, they never know. So then I start digging to break down their costs. And then they always say this one thing. Well, I made this much, and then after I put gas in the tank, this much is left. We've seen it so many times. The only thing people calculate is their fuel. And then I have to be like, well, man, how much is your insurance? How you renting or you financing the truck? What about your toes? Did you eat? Did you sleep? We've seen it so many times. They'll just come up here and be like, well, man, I spent this much in the tank last week and this was left over. They think that's the only cost that's supposed to be factored in to determine what they made. They think after they pay for fuel, then everything else is profit. There's a lot more to determining your profit than just fuel. There's other variable expenses. There's a lot more variable expenses. There's other fixed costs. So this goes back to the lack of understanding finances and accounting when it comes to business. Listen, if you are going to come into a business and you don't want to do what's necessary for you to be successful, then why do this shit? See, me, I don't got no sympathy for you. I don't care if you win. I want you to win, but if you fail, then that's cool too. We need people who don't want to do what's in the best interest for them in their business. We need you to do other things. Everybody can't be a business owner. Everybody can't be a business owner. We need people to do other things. All right. So if you don't want to do what's best for you, then hey, I don't have no sympathy for you because I know what it takes to run a successful business. I know what it takes to scale. And in order for you to scale, you got to be doing what? You can't scale unless you're doing what? You got to be making money. I've never seen someone scale. Well, I've seen people come in at scale ignorantly, but when you come in from humble beginnings and then you go and you going like this and you going like this, you going like this, the reason why you can go and go, keep going up is because you're making money. The business is making money. The business is affording you to be able to keep going up. You'll never get to that point if you don't make money. You're going to be running around here crying and complaining, talking about what they doing. All right. So let's lack of financial literacy, since we've been talking about it. So you have to educate yourself on accounting. All right. I think you need to educate yourself on just business in general, right? We in an era where you can go take free courses. You can take them on YouTube. They might be a little dated, right? But the fundamentals are the same. Basic intro to business, basic economics, basic accounting, just to get some sense of an understanding of business, so that you have some general knowledge of just business in general, so you know what you invested in outside of trucking, just understanding business. Because it's crazy to me that someone, and I know why you do it. You see people on Instagram. Notice they never go in depth. One, they can't go in depth like I go in depth because one or two things. Either they're really not doing this, they're just selling you content for you to get into it, or they're new themselves and they can't really go in depth because they don't have the tenure like I have. This is why they never hit the link when I challenge them, because I'm challenging the information that they putting out that's misinformation. I'm detrimental to their bottom line because I'm taking food. I'm purposely listen. I want to take all their food off their table and I dare them hit that link. I'm doing this shit purposely. I'm not doing this shit because I ain't getting paid to do it. I'm purposely doing this shit because I'm bored. All right. So trucking has made me a lot of money. All right. And I know what it takes to get to the top. So at some point I have to, my moral, what's the word? My moral, whatever it is, something kicked in and said, man, you got to do your part to kind of, kind of help prevent this misinformation and this bullshit that's being spread. All right. So the best way for me to do it is put out the right information. All right. And the right information, it may be music to some people's ears because this may be the information that they've been seeking, and to some people it may be upsetting because those are the weak people that think shit is easy, that take this information and they think it's bullshit, and then they hit the thumbs down and shit like that, and then they fail because I tell them, yo, ain't no such thing as cheap freight, and stop complaining, pull your pants up. You dig what I'm saying? You decide to become a business owner, and they don't want to do that because four of them and man them told they was gonna come in and run it up with a box truck or a cargo van, and that shit not happening. Yeah, because you ain't doing none of the shit that I'm telling you to do. All right, so financial literacy. If you can't add and you can't count, you ain't gonna be successful. If you don't want to take the time to understand accounting for your business, you're gonna fail. I'm telling you, you're gonna fail. It ain't me being pessimistic or negative. No, this is facts. If you don't know how to count, we're going to continue to cheat you. I'm the guy who's going to buy something for $1 and I'm going to sell it to you for $100, knowing that you don't know better purposely. That's not my personal problem. And that's your personal problem. That's your business problem. And it's my game. It's my game to prey on your ignorance. This is how the world works. This is capitalism. If you're ignorant, I'm going to continue to educate myself, to prey on people who follow trends, who have a lack of understanding, and I'm going to take advantage of you. And I'm going to sleep good. The education is on the internet. You can go take it for free. If you running around here and you don't know what it costs you to run your business, you are funny to me. You are a funny person. And I don't care if you dislike me. You're not going to do nothing. You're just going to sit there and complain. All right? All right. Now, running a trucking business can be a little complex, right? All right. The formula to determine your cost per mile is simple, but there's things that are constantly changing in the industry. There's things that are going to constantly change with your business. There's going to be unforeseen circumstances that may arise within your business, right? That will completely throw your cost per mile out of whack. All right. One thing, let's talk about market changes. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. A lot of the struggles come from the guys who run middle mile. Hit the like button. See, I don't see the like buttons. I don't see, this is what I be talking about. The like speed. Like, come on, wake up. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Check this out. A lot of the complaints and stuff come from the guys that run middle mile, right? Because their operation is a little bit more complex than guys that run local, whether curbside, final mile, things of that nature. When you're running local, you obviously have lower costs. You have dedicated work, right? You may not be running on a guarantee, but you're getting paid a fixed cost per stop. And obviously, if the stop has a broader scope, then there's going to be incentives to go do extra things like assemblies, trash removal, so on and so forth. But the middle mile guys is where, those guys have the most problems. One is because of the spot market, right? And just a lack of understanding on the spot market. And that's why people say, man, these freight is cheap. Stop taking cheap freight. No, the freight is what the freight costs. What can you afford to run and what can't you? What can you run profitably versus what is being presented to you that's not profitable for your business? That's how a business person looks at this shit. A business person don't look at shit and complain. When they see the market shifting in a certain direction, then a good business owner, instead of complaining, you know what they're going to do? They're going to shift with the market. And what's the one thing that you have to do to shift with the market, especially if the market is going in a downward trajectory, is lower your cost. If your costs are high, or let's say they were normal and it was fine when the market was, let's say, here, but you start to see the market go here, all right? And this makes it harder as the market continues to go down. It makes it harder for you to compete, right? Then guess what? You got to come down with it. And if the market goes back up, that don't mean go spend some more money. That means still find ways to lower your costs, because the more you lower your costs, the more your profit margin is. But if you're here and the market starts to go down, then you got to come down. You need to come down there. You need to stay under so that you can compete. This shit is it's simple. It's simple. That's the main thing that messes a lot of the middle mile guys up. They don't know how to play the market. Check it out. It's a market. This is why I say ain't no such thing. A market is going to shift. All right. If see, this is how I know a lot of guys don't. Well, you're not making money to be able to invest into other things. But let's say you were investing to another market. Let's say like the stock market. This is a great comparison. The stock market it's not consistent day in and day out. It fluctuates. Some days it's up, some days it's down. You may have some companies that are green, some companies are red. There's some days when just the whole market is green. There's days when the whole market is red. It's a market, spot market. The market is going to fluctuate based on supply and demand. Well, man, the market is based on what people take. No, it's not. There's always going to be somebody that takes something that you wouldn't take. And there's always going to be somebody that's not going to take something that you would take. So if you're worrying about what thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of other people that you don't know, that you can't control, you a fool. I'm never finna complain about a bunch of people who I don't even know who these people are. These are thousands of people that are running freight in this country that's on this spot market. I'm not worrying about what they got going on. I have to worry about what's in front of me, because that's more than enough. You have to set your business up to compete. So guess what? You got to understand that when you're entering into a business, you didn't understand what you was entering in. That's why you sitting up here complaining and shit. That you're going to always have to adapt to an ever-changing market. Did you analyze your risk? You didn't analyze your risk because you didn't even understand what you was getting into before you got into it. You didn't do a risk assessment. So like when I purchase a company, right, in the stock market, I analyze my risk. I do a risk assessment. I also research the company. Am I going to make money on this in the long run? When I see things going red, should I pull out my profits, or you know what? It's going to go low. We just going to take this hit. We're going to go in the red. We're going to go below our average cost, but this is going to give me an opportunity to bring my average cost down, because I'm going to buy more into this company at a lower cost. I'm analyzing my risk. Do I want to get out, or do I want to you look at this as an opportunity? I've done my research, man. You know what? I know that this market in the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to increase their sales by 15, 20%. They got this, they're building this infrastructure. They got this technology on the back burner that's being developed right now. All right, you know what? All right, we'll just let it sink below our average cost, and we're just looking at an opportunity to invest more to bring our average cost down. It gives us an opportunity to buy in at a cheaper cost. You're not doing that for your business. Your business, you should always listen. In business, whether you're up or down, or in the black or in the red, you should always be trying to find ways to lower your costs, period. Especially if you're in the spot market. The market is going to keep shifting. I can expound on this a million different ways, and some people will get it and some people won't. I did a live stream last week about working for free. Whew, that thing got so many dislikes, and I knew it was. You know why? Because people looked at the title, they listened to maybe the first 5 minutes, and then they didn't catch it. Or they watched the whole thing, and they didn't understand what I meant by working for free. After you park your truck, after you max out on your hours and you sitting at the truck stop and you park, is that it for you? You gonna go in the truck stop, take you a shower, right? Come in and hop on Netflix or hop on YouTube and watch some people streaming? Or you gonna go take you a shower, grab you something to eat, get back in your truck and go to sleep? How much time are you allotting that's not actually bringing in direct revenue when you're sitting there researching? How much time are you sitting there working for free trying to figure out ways to lower your cost? This is what I meant by working for free, right? Because when you're driving and you're on the clock, or you're doing moving, or when you're doing final mile and you're going stop to stop, you're doing work that is you're being paid. The job that you're doing, the money that you're getting is directly associated with what you're doing. But when you're just sitting there trying to figure out ways to lower your cost or figure out ways to make more money, you're not getting paid for that. No one's paying you for that. You're working for free right now so that you can make more money later by either one, lowering your costs, or finding ways to give your business a bigger footprint, or a combination of both, lowering your costs and finding ways to make more money. That's what working for free is, fool. So all you cats to hit the like button, this is why you failing. This is why I'm sitting right here in the crib, still getting to the money. Still got trucks parked that I'm still paying insurance on. I'm paying to park them. I'm still here. You know why? Because I knew how to get to the money. I still know how to get to the money. That shit is easy. Getting to the money is easy. Once you figure out how to use money, did you figure out money as a tool? Man, that shit is nothing. When you figure out, listen, buy for $1, sell for $2. What I don't have a savings account. I think that's the dumbest shit I say about all the time. It's the dumbest shit in the world. I have my money just sitting there. My money working for me. My money is a slave. Each and every dollar I look at as a soldier. And it's their job to go out and recruit more soldiers. Each dollar is a soldier. And I'm sending them out every day to recruit more soldiers. Money is a tool. I don't follow trends. When you was buying in, I was selling out. When you was coming in, I was getting out. When you was doing God whatever back in the day for some of the older people, I was building. So if you watch that live stream and it upsets you because you feel like you shouldn't do anything for free in your business, you a fool. You're going to do a lot of work that you're not going to be compensated for directly when you're building a business. It's going to be a lot of days where you stay up late trying to figure out ways to lower your costs or figure out ways to make more money that you're not going to get paid for. Bookkeeping. I say it all the time. A lot of people ain't keeping their books. And here's the thing. If you know you're going to be a lazy owner operator, hire an accounting firm. Pay the money, right? It's a write-off. Let them do it for you. Streamline all your expenses, all your money coming in, all your money going out of one business account, period. That way, at the end of the month, when that statement is available, you can download that PDF and just email it directly to your accountant so they can keep your books throughout the course of the year. So when it's time to do your taxes, it's pretty much already done. Let your accountant handle your books for you. Just pay whatever it is. It's a write-off anyway. Whatever they charge you, that's going to be written off under accounting. If you know you're not going to do it, pay somebody to do it for you. This, I think, is a cost that if you have to spend is well spent, right? This is something I think that's well spent, especially if you're not going to do it right now. You can listen, we're going to get into the ways, but you need to do this. You need to do it consistently every single day. Every day. If you go to the gas station, you need to have record keeping. Here's the thing. If you're going to be lazy and you don't want to get receipts, your one business bank account, whatever you spend, just spend it on that debit card. So that way, everything is on the statement. Now, I'm giving you the ways to be lazy without being lazy. All right? Just spend everything on your business debit card. Have all your money that's being factored. If you're running final amount, all your money that's coming in on settlements come into that same bank account and use that same business debit card to spend money. That way, everything is coming in and coming out. It's streamlined. You got a statement. You see every single credit, every single debit itemized. And then what you go do is you input that information into whatever software you're using if you don't have an accounting firm. But you need to do this. All right. You need to, I would suggest you have a secondary app where you input this stuff in as well. I think each person should have multiple bookkeeping solutions. All right. All right. We talked about fluctuating market conditions. I jumped. That's very imperative for a lot of you guys that run middle mile. Let's talk about not understanding your cost, the impact. Profitability issues. This is why some of y'all can come into this industry and run, and then be like, man, where the money at? Hit the like button. Hit the like button. You ain't making no money. You trying to figure out where it's at because you've been running at a loss because you don't know what it costs you to run. And I can keep saying this, and I'm going to say it multiple times throughout this stream, that if you don't know what it costs to run, 9 times out of 10, you operating at a loss without having a clear understanding of what it costs you to run your business. How do you expect to make money? The purpose is to make money. So you need to know what it costs you to produce your service or produce your good in order to be able to know what to charge somebody or what to accept or what to decline. So how can you say some freight is cheap when the decision on what you should or shouldn't take is based on what it costs to operate your business? If something is you consider it's cheap, I don't consider it cheap. All right, if you run something at a loss, to me, that's costly. It's costing you money. So how can it be cheap? It's expensive, right? So if you're running a service-based business, how can you say something that's out on the market is cheap when the person who makes the decision on what they take or don't take for their business is you? If it's something that's not profitable for you, keep it moving. Well, you sitting up here coming to the internet complaining about this shit for? That's listen, use it. Oh my God. Listen, see, your favorite content, they ain't gonna tell you goofy because they need you. Because you help them by buying all the dumb shit that y'all buying, and y'all get mad. So listen, if you come to the internet and you say this goofy ass
Yo,
shit,
goof ass. Goofy as hell.
and somebody call and say, yo, we charge $200 an hour, 3 guys, plus truck fees. Listen, I give them the quote. And they said, man, well, I saw some other guys, they were charging $100 an hour. You know what I'm going to say? Well, all right, call them. Fuck, I'm sorry, what you calling me for? That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, call them. I'm not going to go to the internet and be like, man, these guys are trying to, man, we charge $200 an hour, but man, I keep getting these calls and they keep talking about $100 an hour. I'm going to say, call them. You know why? Because I know my cost, I know my value. This is what we need. This is where we're at right now. We have a footprint. We've been doing this over a decade. You're not the client for us. And we're not the company for you. We were the company for you 10 years ago, but we're not that no more. We can pass up on you. Because Eric Villainskowski, right, out in Lake Forest, who got a 6,000 square foot mansion, he's gonna be happy to pay this. We've moved him twice. We moved his employees, his co-workers, his employees. We moved his in-laws. We're not worried about you and your $100 an hour. I'm not finna come to the internet and complain about that shit. I'm gonna say, wait, what you calling me for then? And I'm gonna hang up politely. You know your costs. You know what you can accept, or you know what you can't accept. You know what you can run at a profit versus what you can't. And if you start to see that the market is going in a trajectory that's making it more difficult for you to compete because you may have a little bit higher operational costs, then you need to find ways to lower your costs. It's simple as that. It ain't like all that complaining and shit. You decide to do this. Cash flow problems. Woo. Now, we got a lot of people that don't even know what cash flow is. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. How many times have you seen people come up and I be like, man, you ain't got no cash flow? What's that? What's that? Listen, your business is not going to be able to sustain without cash flow. So like, for instance, going back to a live stream we did last week. Oh, you can get into the box truck business for 3, 4, 5, or 6,000, like some of these guys. Then I did the video, the live stream. Of course, it was a goofy that came into my comment section and said, Mark, you don't know what you're talking about. You can't get into the box truck business for 3 or 4,000. Listen, you get a goofy button,
Yo,
sir.
goof ass.
You get a goofy. All right, boom. You come up with the little 4. Let's give you, because y'all sent me some shit where motherfucker said you can come in with 3,000. One of your favorite content creators said you can come in with 3,000. But let's give somewhat of a realistic number. Let's say a nickel, 5. Nowadays, when you go out and you rent a truck, the only way you getting in that you can possibly get in that way is renting a truck. And that's why they using the whole rent the truck thing. Boom. So let's say you come in with the nickel, you get the rental truck, you pay the down payment to get the rental truck, right? You pay the down payment for your insurance. Obviously, you structure your business, you pay for that, you pay your MC, all the other costs that associate. Clearly, you're going to be running out of money. So you really ain't going to be able to get the tools and materials you really need. So you're going to have to nickel and dime and penny ante ass that shit, right? But you find a way to come in with that nickel. Now, if you find a way to come in with that nickel, if there's anything remotely left over from that nickel, it's going to be a couple dollars. So you coming in already broke. One little incident, one little mishap. And we ain't talking about the truck breaking down because, I got a wrong truck. I don't got to pay for the maintenance. Okay, let's say that does happen. Let's say the truck does break down. You done spent the nickel. You might have spent $4,600. Now you stuck in the middle of nowhere. The rental truck company ain't going to pay for you a flight. The rental truck company ain't going to pay for you a cab. The rental truck company ain't going to pay for you a hotel. The rental truck company ain't going to pay for you an Uber. The money that you got to spend to eat in the middle of nowhere. This is just one example. Do you got enough money for fuel? Fool. You have no cash flow. You cannot operate a business with no cash flow. So if your goofy ass think you finna come into this business with $3,000 to $6,000 and you spend the whole $3,000 to $6,000 to get in, right? The costs that are associated with getting in, because they just telling you to get in for the cheapest way. What about cash flow, fool? How are you gonna operate, fool? You can't run a business without cash flow, fool. See, they don't understand this, and if they do, they're not gonna tell you this because they want you to hit the link. So they can sell you some shit for $2,000, $3,000, right? And your goofy ass gonna go run and come up with your nickel. And you gonna spend it all to get in thinking it's gonna turn into immediate riches. But there's one key component that you didn't realize, that coming into this industry, on that cheap whatever, $3,000 to $6,000 that you're not going to have cash flow. Anything happens, you're done. And this is why so many people that come in that way, they don't last 3 months. Because something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna not pay you, somebody's gonna file a claim, whatever the case may be. Truck may break down, the rental truck may break down, something may happen, anything may happen. You didn't have enough money to even get some low bars and some straps because they told you it was 3,000 to 4,000, so you just came in with that 3,000 to 4,000. That was just enough for you to get your authority, structure your business, your BOC3, the down payment for the insurance, and the down payment for the truck. So now your little money gone. You had to borrow money to put in the tank to even get the deadhead to your first load. But guess what? You didn't have no money to get no straps, no blankets, no shrink wrap, no load bars, nothing. So they put the load in the truck, and I've seen this happen. I think we had somebody come on, I think the Wiseman or something, and you didn't strap the load down, and then you get to the drop off, and the whole load then flipped over. So now you don't get paid. You borrowed the money to pay for the fuel. Now you somewhere they not gonna factor because the shit fucked up. The whole load is just destroyed. You heard something go boop, 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 but your goofy ass didn't even have the common decency or the knowledge to just stop the truck, pull over, and see what that was. You heard that shit, goddamn. What's that? You heard the shit go boom. You can't even open the back door because the shit done flipped over and slid to the back and it's pressed up against the door. You having a hard time trying to get the damn door open. So now you in Montana. You went to Montana or you went to Florida. Let's say Montana. Now you in Montana with a destroyed load. Everybody's upset. They're not going to pay you. Now what? You sitting on a quarter tank. And you ain't got a pot to piss in nor a window to throw it out of. So now you gotta get back. You ain't got no money because you followed buddy ass and them. And you said, well, man, they said I can get in the box truck business with $3,000, $4,000, $6,000, $7,000. And you did. You came in with a 4-piece. And your first load, you ain't going to even get paid for. And you in Montana. And it's cold. And you ain't got no gas. The one person that you could borrow money from, you already borrowed from them to put in the tank. Why you need cash flow. Even if you're tenured, this is why it's important to understand your cost. So when shit happens, you don't worry about it. You have cash flow. Truck breaks down, no problem. Send it to the shop. We're a profitable company. Why? Because we understand what it costs to run our business, so we know what to accept or what not to accept. What we're doing, everything we do is at profit because we know how much it costs to run our business. We have delayed our gratification. We pay ourselves a fair amount, and the business makes a certain amount of money that keeps continuing to compound because we're running at profit. Business is making money. So when things happen, no problem. We got cash flow. Truck needs to go to the shop. Hey, they said it's going to be 4,000. Tell them to fix it. Shit, we need the truck back on the road. Damn it. Fix that shit. Why? We not worried about it. Why? We have cash flow because we're running a profitable business. Oh, man, the truck need new tires. All right. Get them. We need the tire. We need tires with some meat on them. Damn it. We running these. We running the road. We're not tripping on that. You know why? Because we got cash flow. Why? Because we know what it costs to run our business, and the shit that we do, we run it at profit. So if you don't have cash flow, then you're a ticking, you're ticking time bomb. Like, it's only a matter of time. If you're running a trucking business with no cash flow, it's only a matter of time. So it's imperative that you understand what cash flow is. And all these things that I've talked about are going to ultimately, if you do these things correctly, are going to lead you to running a sustainable business. A lot of people's business aren't sustainable for what we're talking about. They just don't understand cost, and if you fail to manage your cost effectively, you're not going to be able to sustain. And that's just the bottom line. All right. So I always talk about education, and I touched on it briefly earlier. Educate yourself on business, educate yourself on finance. All right. I've already given you the formula numerous times to understand your cost per mile. All right. All right. You need to be doing, listen, do it every day. Do it every week. Get in the habit of doing it. Middle mile guys, your costs are always fluctuating. So you should do it often. All right. All right. Technology is something else that you guys can implement. It's 2024 going into 2025. There's apps that you can use that you can input this information and it'll help you. There's trucking calculators. I think you should do it manually, but if you are struggling with arithmetic, then shame on you. All right. You shouldn't be running a business, especially a business that deals with numbers, if you haven't done what's in your best interest to understand math. First, listen, if you don't understand math and you can't read or write, first thing you need to do is go back and get your GED. And I ain't trying to like make no jokes or nothing like that, but I'm just keeping it a buck. You got to prioritize. You got to put shit. You got to prioritize shit the proper way. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you can't read or write, you don't understand arithmetic, then you're not properly prepared. So the performance is definitely going to be piss poor. See how I threw the piss in there? And that's with a P too. So if you don't understand math for whatever reason, then the first thing you need to do is go get your GED and understand math, basic math, right? Because there's going to be people that are going to take advantage of you. Once a broker finds out you can't add, oh man, you sweet. Once somebody find out that you can't add, you sweet. Nobody going to like go the extra mile because you don't understand math. They're going to go the extra mile to take advantage of your goofy ass. On the real. So that's the first thing you need to do is understand math. All right. Now, if you understand math and you just lazy, man, get QuickBooks. Do your account with QuickBooks. Pay the little subscription fee and utilize it every day. There's a trucking calculator that you can use online that's free to input this information. I think a lot of people should seek professional help. Hire a CPA, a firm. Money's going to be written off anyway. If you're doing goofy stuff with your money that you can go without, you can sacrifice, I'd rather take that money and invest it into technology or a firm that's ultimately going to help make you better. So, this whole cost shit that I just been hammering in, this is the reason why I'm hammering in, because every week. You're not failing because of the market. The market is not going to make you fail. You're going to make you fail. And that's just the bottom line. Like y'all don't I don't understand why people think that everything is supposed to be gravy. It's competition. You're gonna have people that can compete better than you. Did nobody tell you to go out and do what was in your best interest? I know they told you to go out and buy them expensive trucks. When Mark said don't buy, and Mark's still saying don't buy these expensive trucks, the people still gonna tell you to buy them. But I'm telling you the way to win. If you scared, then don't bring your ass out here, especially going over the road, because you're gonna be in some peculiar situations, and the shit that you don't want happen, it always happen when you in the worst situation. That's just the nature of the business. You driving. Eventually that truck gonna break down. Hopefully it don't break down on you in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere where your cell service, you ain't getting good cell service. But that's the nature of the business. And guess what? If it happens, you in the middle of nowhere, whatever the next town or the local town that's gonna come out and tell you, guess what? You ain't gonna have no choice but to pay whatever it is they tell you. You know why? Because who else gonna come save you? They got the upper hand on you. This is why you gotta have cash flow. Bring your ass out there with no money, listening to these fools telling you can get in with $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000, and then want to come in my comment section and telling me I'm wrong. Bring your punk ass in with your little funky ass $3,000, and then something happened to your punk ass, and then you be stranded and you ain't got no money because you don't know about cash flow. It's gonna happen. Or you don't know to tie down the load, or you didn't have enough money to get no tie downs and no load bars and no straps. And that whole first load, you thought, man, I'm gonna just make this load. I got enough money to get in. I borrowed some money from my Meemaw to put the fuel in the tank to get me to this first drop off. I dropped this first drop off. They're gonna factor it, and they're gonna pay me, and then I should be good from there. Psh, yeah, all right. That shit don't go the way you think, then you stuck like Chuck. All right. All right, so what we got in here? Make sure you guys hit that like button. Fonzo said, nah, you're right. And if you can't read, period, go back and learn, because them bridge signs and road signs will bend you over. What Ice Cube say, no Vaseline. Yeah, if you can't read or write, I think the first thing you should do before you come into this industry is go back and get your GED. And I'm not being funny, I'm being dead ass serious. Like you're gonna need to be able to read. You're gonna need to be able to write and understand arithmetic. It's gonna be for the best interest of you. And people will take advantage of you. Once they find this out, they're gonna take advantage of you. It's not hard to tell if someone can read or write or understand math. I was thinking about something earlier, right? I remember back in the day when I used to go to like Jewtown and just some of the places back in the day that sold a lot of urban shit, when urban gear and shit was in. So you had to go to Jewtown and some shit like that, right? And back in the day, you would try to, Jew the price down. You would negotiate. If something was going for, let's say, 100, you'd be like, man, go ahead. Let me get it for 85, or let me get it for 90. And what you used to see that you don't see now in all businesses, whenever you would try to Jew somebody down, they would pull out their calculator and they would just start to do this. And then they'll look at you. And then I can't do 85, I can do 90. You know what they doing when they typing them figures in that calculator? They determining their cost. They determine what the cost. They already know what the cost is, but they trying to see how far they can go down with giving you a deal that's worth their while. You don't see people doing that no more. You don't see people doing that no more. Because everybody's lazy. And this is why you have a lot of failed business owners, not just in trucking, it's in general. A lot of people followed a lot of trends, especially during the pandemic, to come into different industries, to start different businesses. The majority of them failed because they didn't know the cost. Like a lot of people, like I saw a lot of these chicks during the pandemic, when they got their money, they opened up these boutiques, which to me was the dumbest. Like, why would you open up a brick and mortar for some shit that you bought off Alibaba when you got other chicks that are drop shipping this shit on their Shopify stores? So you mean to tell me you're gonna pay lights, you're gonna pay rent, you're gonna pay gas, you're gonna pay your business fees, all the shit that's associated with running a brick and mortar, general liability insurance, all the shit that's associated with running your POS, to sell some shit that a bunch of other people are ordering from Alibaba that have a fraction of the cost. So that means they're going to be able to sell this fucking one-piece jumpsuit for less than you, because the price which you got to sell it for, they can sell it for a lot lower because the cost that you have, they don't have. And you know what I saw a lot of them chicks do that was opening them boutiques? They were selling their shit for the same price that the chicks that was selling online was selling it for. Which I know they couldn't afford to do, right? Because they have a higher cost, but they don't understand cost. They didn't know how to associate the cost into the product to be able to determine what they should be able to sell it for, by putting a profit margin on top of whatever it costs. They just were selling for what they saw other people selling it for online. That's how they determine what they should charge. And this is ultimately why all those boutiques you seen pop up, which was the stupidest shit ever, during the pandemic, are all closed. All of them. They didn't even calculate the shipping costs into the cost. So, you know, you gotta know your cost, man. No, I'm right 100%. I'm right 100%. 2 to 3K to get in, wrong. It's not 2 to 3. In is in. In is in and ready to roll. If you're in, if you have the money to get in and you're broke, you're not in. If you in and you ain't got enough money to put in the tank, you not in. So no, I'm 100% right. I don't get no, you ain't no fit. Listen, in means in. Meaning I'm in and I got 3 to 6 months of working capital to be able to sustain whatever it is that may come. That's in. They not all the way in. If you ain't got no cash flow, you ain't got no working capital, how are you in? Not in. You got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right? Because if anything happens, that foot that's in is now out. If you got working capital, you got cash flow, you got 2 feet in. And you ain't even near the door. So if something happen, all right, we're going to have to dibble off some of this cash flow, and we're going to have to take 2 or 3 paces towards the door. Something else happen that, we still ain't figured out how to make money. All right, you know what? We got to dip into this cash flow, and we're going to take another 2 or 3 paces towards the door. You come in with just enough money to get in, you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You're not all the way in. You playing the fence. So no, you're wrong. I'm 100% right, sir. You're not giving them no credit. What you talking about? Fonzo said 2 to 3 investment isn't enough to start in the semi side. That's fuel right there, and that will burn out in a week. Man, 3,000? You coming in with 3,000 with a rental truck or 4,000? Man, you ain't got no working capital. You out there broke. Who wants to travel the country broke? Like Axel says, I'm closed minded. Nah, I'm not closed minded. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna tell people the dumb shit that other people are telling them so they can get out here like so many people have and be stuck because they lack the business acumen and they don't understand that they being misled. If you want to go do some dumb shit, you feel free to do it. But I'm not gonna let you come on my platform and listen. You know what we're gonna do? We're going to, because I check this out. I'll tell you, I'm done with this shit. Not finna get into this industry for no $3,000 and think you gonna make it. I ain't closed, man. I'm telling you the truth. You come in here with $3,000 and you just barely get in by the hair of your chinny chin chin. Where's your working capital? You can't run a business. You can't sustain a business without working capital. Period. I'm not gonna tolerate no ignorant shit, right? If I'm preaching against the ignorant shit, you're not gonna come in here and say no ignorant shit. You want to get in with no working capital, then don't buy a box truck. Start from humble beginnings. Take your car, whatever you got, utilize what you have. That's how you start with no working capital. Take your car, sign up with Amazon Flex, Spark, Roadie, all this, that, and the third, and then that's how you run with no working capital because you utilizing what you have with very to little overhead, right? Now, when you come in with this box truck shit and you come in with $3,000 or $4,000, that's just the money to get you in, and you have no working capital. How you gonna sustain? You got overhead now. You got to pay that truck rental every week, regardless of what happens. You got to pay that insurance, regardless of what happens. In order for you to get to and fro, you need fuel. Fool. You may have to deadhead. Fool. You need fuel. You got to eat. But you're going to be out there on the road famished. You're going to be famished. Fam, you're going to be out there just starving and shit. You got to pay tolls. You got to pay your log. Y'all wash your ass. Like, how y'all living out here in these streets? Y'all like Vikings or some shit? Like, what happened to all this shit that you got to pay for? So you come in like he's talking about, then he's saying, I'm closed-minded. You bring your ass out here with just enough money. And then let me know how that works for you. You're going to be stranded like so many people that I've come across since I've been creating this content that came out with just enough money. And what happened? What was buddy that used to come up frequently? What was his name? He just came up about a couple months ago. What was his name? Oh man, he didn't even last no time. He was stuck in Montana. He ain't had no money. What's his name? Come on, y'all help me out. What's buddy name that was stuck in Montana, didn't have no money? He had to sit there for 3 or 4 days. Somebody had to send him some money. What was buddy's name? Somebody help me out. Nah, he ain't my student. The buddy, me and Kurt was gonna give him free coaching or something. Kurt gave him the radius and he went outside the radius. He went from New Jersey all the way to California for like $3,500. What was his name? Oh man, what was this guy's name, bro? James. That's a classic example of coming into this business with just enough money and not having no working capital. Hit the like button. So listening to this guy that's saying I'm closed-minded by telling you this, you listen to him. And then you come into this business with no money, you call Axel. When your ass get out there and you be out there stranded because you ain't got no cash flow, call me and then I'm going to give you the number to call him and see if he give you some money. You bring your ass out there with no money, you're going to be stranded. Guess what? The learning curve costs. You on the new. You're going to make mistakes. So bring your ass out there with just enough money to get in. Still on the new, which means mistakes are going to happen because you're going through the learning process, and the learning curve is costly. It costs to make mistakes. So now you're making mistakes coming in on the new, right? You're going to need cash flow to alleviate it. You're going to need that cash flow, big dog, to pay for some of these mistakes. Bring your ass in with just enough money to come in. Think you're going to get to that first drop off and then they're going to factor your money and then all your problems are going to be whisked away. I could tell you other stories too. We've had people come up that came in with that same mindset. They did all of one. Some of them didn't even make it to their first load. James sat somewhere for days because he didn't have no money. No cash flow. Stop listening to these guys, bro. Like, it's for real. Like, man, did we pin a link? We didn't pin it. Hold on. We gotta always make sure we pin it. Any of my people detractors that say, hey, cash flow doesn't matter, link pin to the top of the chat, man. So that's it, man. That's why so many people are struggling due to lack of understanding of their cost. There go the link. We're gonna give it a couple minutes. Allow somebody to come in if they disagree, because there was one guy that came in and said last week that there was two people actually. One said you can definitely start a business with $3,000 to $4,000 or $5,000 box truck, and then there was another guy who said that rental is the best way to go. So after my whole little live stream, he still didn't understand that the costs are baked in and that he's going to make more money throughout a career tenure in this industry renting a truck than if he owned one. I don't know, bro. These guys are just crazy to me, bro. My coworker wants to pay an Instagram dude $100 to get in with little to no money in a box trucking business. I keep winging him. He needs at least 6 months of cash just for safety reasons. You need cash flow. You definitely need working capital. Anything can happen. Anything. You can not get paid, truck can break down, anything. You can get stranded. Like, we coming up on wintertime, you might be stuck at a truck stop. You need enough money so that you can burn diesel to keep yourself warm. Like, there's so many different examples of things that can happen while you're out on the road for you not to be out there without working capital. There's just so many different examples, variables. There's so many different true stories that I've come across just from creating content that people have come up and said of things that have occurred. We had a guy that came up early this year, last year. He went into a ditch. It was $5,000. He had to borrow the money. He didn't even have the money. He had to make some calls to his grandma to borrow the money. His truck was literally stuck in a ditch. He did not have the money. He was coming through a market. It was snow. I forgot how he slid into the ditch. He slid into the ditch, and the record came. It was a nickel. You've invested into this business. You've invested into the equipment, the truck. You can't just leave it there. Man, the man had to make calls. He had to call his father. He had to call his grandma. He had to conjure up that money. That record was not finna winch that thing out of that ditch unless he came up with that nickel. They sat there until he came up with that nickel. Like, y'all, that's new. Y'all don't understand what it's like being out there on the road. Even on the local level, you need working capital. Anything can happen. Like, let me tell you a story. I probably said before. It was a one-time T-Force didn't pay me for 3 consecutive settlement periods. I didn't stop rolling. You know why? Because I knew eventually they was going to have to pay me. See, they don't pay you the first settlement period. Oh, you gonna raise holy hell. You ain't gonna run your trucks. You gonna quit. You know how many businesses that utilize vendors, right? And the vendors will come out and provide the services on a net 30 or net 60. And then 30 days come, the client don't pay. They keep providing the service. 60 days, they send them a notice, you're 2 months behind. They keep providing the service. They're going to work with them in the hopes that one day they pay. They don't stop working with them. This is business. And this goes back to what I said at the beginning. When you're running a business, you have to think like a business person, not like an individual a person. Yes, Dynamics T-Force did not pay me for 3 consecutive settlement periods. And you know what? I kept running. Of course, they eventually paid me. But I'm running a business. We have cash flow. And it costs me money. Each week with payroll, it costs me like $4,500. So within 2 weeks, I was $9,000 in the red that hadn't been paid for cost, fuel, labor. I didn't stop. Why? Because this 3PL, I'm making a lot of money. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing behind the scenes to correct the issue. The guy, Eric Field, was racist and prejudiced, and he wasn't putting my money in. So after I took it all the way up to corporate, they told me, all right, well, you're just going to deal directly with Devyani Patel, which was the accounting person at the branch, and I went around him. See, I'm invoicing them. I'm invoicing them. I'm providing a service to them. I'm not like an independent contractor. I'm sending them an invoice paid. So by me having this sweet deal, I get a guarantee, and I'm invoicing them, I understand that, look, sometimes I'm not going to get paid, but I'm a business. Now, I could have stopped running after that first week they didn't pay me, and then that would have terminated our working relationship, right? And then all those thousands and 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 thousands I kept getting after they paid me, I wouldn't have got none of that because I would allow, let's see, we were running 300, so that's 2,700. Where's my calculator? So 2,700 times 5, that's 13,500, and then 3,000. All right, so we was running 9 trucks a day at a guarantee of $300 per truck. All right, so do the math on that. All right, so that's 2,700 a day times 5 days a week. Gross. This is gross. That's 13,500 a week for Office Depot. We're running 3 trucks in the morning at a guarantee of $500 for IKEA. That's $1,500. We running 3 trucks for 5 to 9s, right? At another $1,500. That's $3,000 a day, Monday through Friday. That's $15,000. Then we running for a guaranteed $600 a day on Saturday, all right, and Sunday. So that's another $7,200 on the weekend. You think I'm gonna let all that shit go because they missed a few checks? No, I'm gonna pay, and I'm gonna go through the processes of what do I need to do to get this back payment. I'm a business. We have cash flow for situations like this. Not gonna cry and complain and miss out on future money because one person ain't doing their job. I'm not going to cry and stomp and complain like these people on the internet doing because they think that people are taking something cheap when they're not. And complaining, no, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to solve the problem. All right, Eric Field not going to pay me. I need to go to his boss, Mike. All right. Second week, Mike didn't do what he was supposed to do. All right, I'm contacting corporate down in Dallas. Corporate contacted Mike. Mike contacted me and said, all right, from now on, email all your invoices to Deviani. She does all the payment. You're going to get paid. Took a few weeks to go through that process, but it happened. Not finna cut off the gravy train prematurely. Are you crazy? Eventually the gravy train got cut off because they lost their count, but I wasn't the person who was going to cut it off over some thousands of dollars. Nah, we just going to go into cash flow. Just keep running the trucks. Each truck got a fuel card, no problem. The fuel bill is going to get paid. Don't worry, you're going to continue to get paid. Your whatever you make, don't worry, just keep rolling. We have plenty of money. It's no problem because we understand our cost. So when this account was paying, we have that money still. The profit, we still have it. Then we have a successful moving company. We're making glue globs of money. Money isn't an issue because we understand our cost. The issue is they're not paying me. But that's the issue. Money is not the issue. The issue is that they're not paying me. We have money because we have cash flow because we understand our cost. Now, if we would have been running at a loss because we never understood our cost and somebody don't pay you, oh my God, you kicking, you punching, you screaming, you complaining, you just doing all this goofy shit. So then a real business owner is like, man, they didn't pay you for 1 week? Well, why are you so upset? It happens all the time. It's business. This is how a business person would look at a person like that. You don't get paid 1 week and then you get to scratching, clawing and complaining and shit. We looking like, see, you can't think like a independent guy or whatever. You got to think like a business. What's the problem? Man, they didn't pay me. Man, we ran a whole week. Well, did you contact the accounts payable? Yeah. All right. Well, just take it to corporate. Just call corporate. It's no big deal. It's nothing. They'll pay you. It's a company. They're not gonna pay you. It happens. Yeah, you got cash flow, right? I saw you last week. You was in the club. Get it out the mud trucking, right? LLC, right? I saw them come through with the 4 or 5 bottles. You got it, right? You was able to spend $1,300 on per bottle when I saw you in the club last week. I saw on your Instagram too, y'all. You did a big thing at the strip club, and you had the money. It was bringing you the money out in the clear plastic and shit. You was smacking asses and shit. You had your Dior's on. You stood on the couch. You did the money phone like this with all the money stacked up. And you sitting here complaining that they missed your settlement for a week? I don't know, man. Something's not adding up. Something's not adding up, sir. It's not adding up. This is how we look at you. Did you ever charge a late fee? Nope. I did not charge a late fee. Mark, the guy who went in the dishes load shifted, tied down or not. So that's in the content. I think his name was Key. You can go back and look at that content. And he had put the pictures up and everything. So it's in the content. I think it was a Wise Man episode. Yeah, you can go back and look at that. But yeah, he didn't have the money. He talked about how he had to borrow the money from his father and his grandma. It's a good idea to get business. I'm gonna be honest with you. I tell people to coming into this business, I say use cash. And the way you come up with that cash is by working hard, saving, and putting it to the side to come in. You know, I know it's a lot of people that talk about business credit and all that's done the third, and all those people that talk that, majority of people that follow those blueprints fail because now you just created another bill. And then in a market like this, you know, how you going to compete now when you got you financing the equipment, you financing the loan, like it's just no. No, 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 no. Do I think the rates are reflecting the rates are the rates? The rates have nothing to do with the election. It's supply and demand. Supply is down. I mean, demand is down. Supply is still up. There's still a lot of over lingering capacity from the pandemic. Increased competition. Less people spending because they don't have the money to spend. All right. So with lower demand and high supply, cheaper rates, right? Because competition drives rates. The more fierce the competition, the lower the rates. The more harder people are going to compete. So it is what it is. So no, the election has nothing to do with the rates. Now, the outcome of the election may ultimately affect the economy as a whole, one way or another. I think the economy is going to collapse Q1 of next year. I think it's currently being propped up. I think it's being propped up all year. I think it's going to collapse somewhere in Q1 of 2025. So those are my thoughts. All right, so I got another show I got to host in the Discord. So at 12. So I appreciate everybody. Just make sure you guys know your costs. If you don't know your costs, get to know your costs because it's going to be very instrumental in you running a successful business. And then once you figure out your costs, right, then you have to consistently, continuously find ways to lower your costs. All right, I got to go host another show. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.